was once we determined our topic about which we wanted to do research and write a paper, we would have to go to the card catalog in the library. And the library that we had when I was a student is now being used as a social science building. And it was also called Folke Bernadotte Memorial Library. But we would go to the card catalog, and of course each reference book is cataloged according to subject, author, and title. So there were many, many, many drawers with many, many, many reference cards. So you'd select your topic, and then you would have to go through the cards one by one until you found the possible sources for information, and then you would make a list, and you would, just physically have to write down this, make a list, and then you would go to the stacks and find your book, and then you'd have to check it out because these are reference materials, and you could only have it for a short period of time because it would have to be available to other students as well. When you got your book or books, then you would need to go through the book and find your material and then physically take notes. And we would come with a big stack of 3x5 or 5x7 cards, something like a large recipe card, and we would take our notes. And of course we had to be very specific in making sure that we had all of our information, because we would have to do a bibliography and footnotes. Once we had all of our notes taken, then we would, well, for me, I found it best to do a handwritten, a completely handwritten form of the paper first, simply because we didn't have word processing. Excuse me. So any cut and paste was impossible. So I could either do it by circling a paragraph or a word or a sentence and drawing arrows, and I devised my own system. But I would write it out completely first and then go to the typewriter. And of course we didn't have word processing and that type of thing. I had a manual typewriter and a Remington. And in order to have an original and a copy, you'd have to have your onion skin, which is a thin paper, then your carbon paper, and make sure that you put it the right side down, and then your first your quality paper, and then roll it into your typewriter and begin typing. If you made a mistake, and this happened frequently, we had little squares of corrected paper, and it had like a chalky substance on one side, and that was just shiny on the other. So then you would have to back up to your typo, put your paper on top of your original copy, and repeat the typo so that it would completely white it out. And then you'd have to, roll it up and separate your paper and erase your carbon, and then put it all back together and roll it down, and then backspace, and then make your correction. And you hope that you didn't have too many typos because it was a very long process. And actually, some students who were good typists picked up a little extra spending money by typing term papers for classmates who were very poor typists. And so it was a very labor-intensive process. So if you had a couple of term papers each semester, it was something to be reckoned with.